All right, I feel like a rant coming on. So I'm just on diabetes.co.uk's website talking about their low carb diet, which has just been commissioned by NHS, which might be rolled out across GP surgeries in the UK. And essentially just blaming carbohydrates for a lot of health diseases, including diabetes, saying it's linked to weight gain and high blood glucose levels, and that actually now these low carb diets are coming in. It's challenging conventional dietary advice, which basically doesn't work. I'm paraphrasing. So let me just give you my thoughts on that. So, and I quote, since the 1980s, the NHS has been advising people with diabetes to eat low-fat-based diets around starchy carbohydrates. The advice since then has been to have roughly half our energy coming from carbohydrate, which typically means 200 to 300 grams carbohydrate per day. Okay, fine. So that seems quite a lot if you're inactive and immobile. So you might need less if you're not moving very much. Keep in mind the guidelines are on the basis that you're an active individual who's keeping yourself healthy and looking after yourself. Next part. Since low-fat dietary guidelines were introduced, rates of type 2 diabetes have sharply increased, and whilst this does not show low-fat diets itself to blame for this, the low-fat diet does not seem to have helped the matter. So again, if you're going for a low-fat diet but then eating a lot of refined carbohydrates like white bread, white pasta, chocolate, biscuits, cakes, obviously you're going to gain weight. Okay, so it's not carbohydrates, it's the type of food that you're choosing. And then on top of that, if you're inactive and not following healthy living principles, there's a strong possibility you're going to be a strong candidate to go on and develop health problems. Advantages of low carbohydrate diets. Till recently, medical experts would cite a lack of evidence for why low carb diets are being recommended or considered to help diabetes control. In recent years, there have been a growing number of well-controlled clinical trials that have consistently shown low-carb diets to be at least as effective as low-fat calorie diets in terms of weight loss and significantly better in terms of blood glucose control, which is funny because in the previous paragraph they just said low-fat diets aren't any good, but now low-carb diets are only as good as low-fat diets. So what's that about? And then suddenly they go on to challenging the dietary guidelines. Now, I don't know about you, and if there's any fellow dietitian colleagues that will watch this, but the dietary guidelines are individualized. So if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of activity in your life, I'll tell you to eat less calories as a whole. So it doesn't matter if you're having 50% of calories from your carbohydrates, assuming that you're having the correct amount of calories. And that's shown by the remission trial itself with diabetes. So actually, when you look at the composition of the remission trial, it's actually 59% carbohydrates, most of which are sugar. But because they're having such a low calorie intake, 800 calories a day, it results in weight loss, which then in a lot of patients, I think it was 46% of the study trial, 86% of those people that lost 15 kilos or more put their diabetes into remission in the first year. So it's more about the calories and not necessarily the composition of foods. So essentially what diabetes.co.uk is selling a program, which I must also say they have a large stake in as far as I'm aware. But the way they're positioning it is to make it some miracle cure. But really, to me, it seems like they're losing a little bit of credibility because they're just trying to push this program upon people. God, rant over. Thank you.